Recently responded to a question that was asked where I said how I don't consider favorite books as simply standalone books anymore. To me, a lot of my favorite books stemmed from favorite books that I read as a child, and it sort of became like a little rabbit hole into leading me to read some of my favorite books in adulthood. So I wanted to show you guys my childhood favorites and my adult favorites and how the two are very, very similar. We're gonna start off with one of my favorite childhood stories of all time. It is Alice in Wonderland. Huge fan of Alice in Wonderland, and this is one of like my most prized possessions of the Alice in Wonderland books that I have. It is a gorgeous vintage illustrated copy, which I absolutely love and adore. There are key elements to the Alice in Wonderland book that make it so special to me. One is the fact that the setting itself is a character. Wonderland in itself is a character, and all the people in there and what it does, it plays such an integral role into the actual story. Alice herself is also on a journey, and she meets all sorts of strange people and strange characters. This kind of style of writing and this kind of storytelling has remained one of my absolute favorites even into adulthood. Which leads me to tell you one of my favorite books of all time, which I personally think would not be able to exist without stories like Alice in Wonderland, and that book is Piranesi by Susanna Clarke. Piranesi reads like a puzzle. Piranesi is another novel where the setting in itself feels like its own character, its own living, breathing being. It's an incredibly whimsical story. It's a very fever dreamy-like tale. Piranesi is alone in this house. Piranesi is alone in the space, and all he does is take notes about the wonders of his surroundings. Piranesi, to me, is the person that's already in Wonderland, and he starts noticing that there might be a stranger who has now entered his special sacred house. So he kind of wants to know who that is. Some people, when they talk about this book, they say that they love this book based off of vibes. I just think it's an incredibly wonderful, incredibly unique tale. I absolutely adored Piranesi. I have a more in-depth review on this somewhere in my TikTok, and I would not sit here and read Piranesi as an adult and love it so much if I didn't sit and read Alice in Wonderland as a child and love that book as well.